Israel's security cabinet approves a plan from Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu that includes Israeli security control in the Gaza Strip. Now, that's despite mass protests erupting across Israel ahead of this highly anticipated meeting. I want to bring in now former Middle East negotiator for State Department, David Miller. Good to see you tonight. First, your reaction to this vote, this move to take Gaza City.
I mean, I think it's a limited endorsement, Victor, of one specific operation, which is going to be extremely difficult to pull off, and that is to issue evacuation orders to the 1 million Palestinians who now constitute Gaza City. That's roughly half the Palestinian population of the entire Gaza Strip, which is, as you know, roughly twice the size of the District of Columbia. So the Israelis are now deployed in 75% of Gaza. The remaining 25% is where the vast majority of the population is. I think the logic behind the Israeli operation is to clear Gaza City, where there are elements of Hamas cells, separate the population from the fighters, move the population south, and then launch a siege, major ground operations in one of the central areas where, and it's tricky, where the Israelis also believe some of the hostages may be kept.
Yeah, you've talked a bit about the IDF capability of even taking control, military control across Gaza. But then what is the implication, as for weeks now we've shown the images of those Palestinians who are starving, and recently we've seen the images of those hostages who are starving?
I mean, look, I think this is typical Benjamin Netanyahu. President Trump has basically acquiesced in this plan. There's no doubt about it. The other day, he deflected a question and all but said, "I'll leave Gaza up to Israel." The Knesset is out of session until after the Jewish holidays, October 19th. So Netanyahu has real running room, but no real end game, Victor. And I think that's the problem. I think it's increasingly fantastical and fraught what the Israelis are trying to do. Every day that those hostages remain, the 20 that are still alive, remain in prison, their condition, as we've seen in those videos, those ghoulish and sadistic videos, remain increasingly fraught. And the long-suffering and aggrieved population of Gaza, there's no way the Israelis can do this, operate without serious injury and death to the Palestinian population. So, again, I think this is approved by the cabinet. Netanyahu has the votes, but it's hard to imagine that the Israelis will be successful. And the cost to the hostages and Palestinian civilians in Gaza is going to be prohibitive.
You got these big transport aircraft behind me. These are from the Jordanian Air Force, but there are other countries as well, like Germany and Belgium and the United Arab Emirates and France and Britain, that are all sort of taking part in this international humanitarian effort to drop aid in Gaza. And they're loaded up with pallets in the back cargo space. You then take off from this airport in Amman, which is in Jordan, head over towards the Gaza Strip. The back opens up, and then the aid pallets, they parachute off into the waiting crowds below. And you can see on the tail fin of this aircraft there's a very idealistic scene painted of a Jordanian transporter, actually one of the Jordanian transporters, dropping humanitarian aid into Gaza, and people are gratefully receiving it. The reality is much more chaotic, much more violent. Remember, there's an intense humanitarian starvation crisis underway in Gaza, and so people are absolutely desperate for any kind of food that they can get. And so these aid drops result in chaos on the ground, people scrambling, violence. There have been multiple stabbings of people as they try to get their hands on the aid packages. Also, people have been killed by the aid pallets actually hitting them on the head as they drop down. And so, look, this is a far from perfect means of delivering humanitarian assistance into that crisis zone. But having said that, there is intense starvation that's gathering pace in the Gaza Strip. And so, today, for instance, we delivered 6.5 tons of powdered milk and tinned food to Gaza from the back of one of these Jordanian military transport planes. It's not much, it's nowhere near enough to tackle the hunger problems in Gaza, but it's better than nothing. And for some people in the Gaza Strip, it may make the difference between life and death.
Well, I can tell you, I've spent most of this flight looking out of the window at the Gaza Strip below. You get a stunning view of the complete level of destruction that's been wrought in the territory over the past couple of years. I mean, we've been flying over neighbourhoods where I've visited many times, reporting from Gaza over many years, and in the past these were bustling areas, teeming with people, teeming with traffic, busy street markets and things like that. And now you look at them from the air and it just looks like a pile of rubble. Utter devastation on a massive